Welcome to MF Tarot, formerly Chiaroscuro Tarot. This reading is a viewer request from Caroline. This is a pick a card reading, three deck pick a card reading based on the question, how can I be a better parent to my child or children? We'll have 3 piles to choose from. Pile number 1 is iron pyrite. Pile number 2 is this white and green stone. And pile number 3 is this really dark amethyst stone. There will be a picture of the stones timestamped in the description box below. So you can pause the video there and take a moment to go intuitively to which stone you are drawn to the most. Also, the readings will be timestamped in the description box below. If you are a returning viewer, welcome back. If you are new, welcome to the channel. This reading is timeless, so whenever I recorded it, doesn't really matter. If you were drawn to the reading, it's still applicable. I'm totally blanking on my usual spiel. Oh, it is a general reading. So keep in mind, the reading will not be as specific as it would be if you were to get a personal reading, because I'm picking up on general energies. So take what resonates, leave what doesn't. Don't try to force it to fit your situation. It either does or it doesn't. And if the reading isn't resonating with you, you can pick a different pile, or there's other readers online who may have also done the same reading that you could check out their readings and see if that resonates with you better. But don't, if you pick a pile and it doesn't resonate, then the message is not for you. Well, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. And I'm going to move on to pile number 1. If you chose pile 1, the iron pyrite, this is going to be the reading for you on how can you be the best parent for your child. So you could think about your children just as a whole, or if you've got one, particular in mind, and get some advice on that. Pile number 1, advice on being the best parent to your child or children. Pile number 1. Okay, we'll take it all. This is interesting. So this is a little bit about letting go of needing to be right or needing to be in control. There's a little bit about letting go of power here, interestingly enough. This is not to say that you shouldn't be the parent, but what I'm seeing in the cards is there may be a propensity toward your child feeling betrayed by you because you aren't considering their voice in something. So the way that you are handling situations with them is perhaps maybe you think you might be being fair, or you're trying to be fair, but you're actually coming off as a little bit authoritative and not hearing this child or the children don't feel heard. They, instead of seeing that you are trying to resolve a situation, that you would like to maybe even work with them and find a resolution, that works for all, they're seeing you as kind of a very authoritative person, overbearing, controlling, perhaps that you only care about yourself and you don't care about them. I'm just using them in general in case you're asking about multiple children. But they're not seeing you in a very supportive light. And some of this seems to be coming from the fact that you have to let go of what your idea of fair is, or you have to let go of your idea of the power structure. and allow yourself to work on becoming a better parent. Like there's an opportunity here for you to learn how to hone your skills as a parent, instead of just rejecting that, and that, well, anything that reflects on me as potentially not being the best parent I could be, I'm just going to ignore and put that on the children. They have to change their behavior to appease me. Instead of doing that, you're kind of like, well, maybe I could have done something a little bit better, you know? Maybe I do need to work on how I'm communicating, or whether or not I'm listening to my children. Because they are a component in the family, you know, they are there as well. And I mean, the middle of the reading is a communicating child that feels betrayed by you, that feels hurt, very hurt, in fact, to be honest, deeply hurt. So this isn't just like my feelings are hurt. This is actually quite damaging to them to feel unheard and unrecognized by you. So this just seems to be a slight adjustment in how you choose to deal with them in conflict. There is a way to work it out. So like, even look at how these cards are lined up. The child is facing betrayal, is facing hurt, instead of facing a situation where it's like, hey, this can be worked out. You know, you could do this better, I could do this better, and we can all be happy. That to this child is not an option, because anytime they voice their opinions, they get hurt by you. Whether that's not listening, whether that's dismissal, whether that's devaluing, maybe that's even saying, I don't have time for this, something like that. Let's see if we can get a little bit of advice or how to deal with this in a way that works better for everybody from the parental side. Again, the Ten of Wands reversed. You got two of them. Interesting. This could apply for some of you to either a situation where perhaps I'm feeling a couple of things here. I think this has to do with past situations, like in the past when the family fell apart. We have the Ten of Pentacles reversed here. So a family deteriorated at some point. And during that time, you perhaps may have been not a good parent. You may have done the best you could at that time with what had been going on, but you have not acknowledged to the child the ways in which you have actually hurt them as a result of it. It's just kind of swept under the table a little bit. I think you want it to just go away. You could just let it go and release it without actually validating the ways in which you caused that child damage. Because in a way you're like, well, I couldn't have done anything else. I had my own, maybe this is divorce. You had your own, stuff going on. And you weren't, I'm trying not to be too critical here, because I think that this is a difficult situation. Whatever this situation was in the past, it was a difficult situation. I don't know that it really could have gone any other way. But But you do have a chance now to rectify what you have done. And I'm not going to lie. This is a very serious card for a child to be feeling. It's a serious card for an adult. But a child who doesn't understand how to handle this, that's a very heavy burden for a child. And I think acknowledging what the child or the children went through can really help facilitate healing. I'm not sure you're going to go for it, to be honest, because I think that you feel I don't even know if you're really aware, like if you've even bothered to ask your children what they might be bothered by, because I don't think you really want to hear it. I don't think you really want to face some of the things that you have done. It doesn't mean they don't love you, and it's certainly repairable. However, you showed no interest in repairing it. And so, you taught the child not to express themselves, or the children, because they would be punished, deeply punished for it. And so they're not going to bring it up. Why would they? Because they've spent a life thinking that you just care about yourself. You're not interested in them. You're not interested in how they feel. You're not interested in working with them. It's your way or the highway, and your way is skewed. So that's one of the situations. It's the past situation. I'm also feeling there's a current situation where perhaps your family is falling apart, or there's something destabilizing in the family dynamic. It's incredibly important, if that's the case, for you to hear what your child is saying, because through something this destabilizing, the way that you provide stability for that child is to make sure that they feel heard. I don't see this child or children being particularly unreasonable. If you're like, hey, look, shit's falling apart. I'm doing the best I can right now, but what do you need from me? I don't want you to worry. Don't worry. I've got it. I'm the adult here. Like, I'm not seeing you taking charge of being the adult. Or doing it and resenting it. Doing it and not really doing it. Like, I don't want to, but okay, I'll eventually do this. Probably because you're exhausted, because there's things going on. But you can't let things going on and exhaustion be excuses for for justifying your child feeling like this. Like, if you're okay with that, if you're okay with your child feeling like that dark, that hurt, that trapped, then you should never have been a parent. Ever, ever, ever. So if I don't know what else to say about that. If you're okay, if you're okay with, I don't think you are, but I think you're struggling. I think you're more comfortable with your child feeling that way than recognizing the ways in which you may not be behaving as a proper parent. And so you're going to have to get your ego out of the way. Admit to yourself that you can be better. You just have to work at it. And then it switches your child's focus from dark, depressing, trapped, pain, misery, inescapable torture, hopelessness, to, it's not perfect, but the more that we work on it together, it will get better and better. There's hope in this card. There's a future in this card. There's getting, rectifying things and becoming a better unit. Switches their focus into something like that. You have the power to do that because you are the parent and you are the adult. It's not the child's job to do that. There was a third narrative I was hearing here. But I don't remember what it was. So I would like to leave you with this. This is completely fixable. So perhaps some of the reason you may not want to admit the ways in which you are dismissing, devaluing, not listening to your child, or in the past did, is because you think it it can't be fixed, and it can be fixed. Your child is willing, or children are willing to work on this with you. But throughout, you've given them no indication ever that you are. It's just your way, and... Oh, here's the third... Well, maybe this is just tied into the past one. Somebody's still holding on to something that happened in the past. I think it's the child. Well, and you. Perhaps. You know? I don't know. I'm bouncing around too much now. I'm hoping this is making sense. Final advice. I think I already did this, but this seems like a delicate situation. So I want to make sure that there's something like positive and optimistic. It's very interesting. This is definitely a situation that can be rectified. Definitely a situation that can be rectified. But it's almost like you, the moon. In astrology, the moon can be connected to the mother. The mother, if you are a mother, or maybe you are a mother figure or played the mother role, the mother has to acknowledge something that she doesn't want to in order for the healing, in order for things to truly be released. So that's the message. If this had to do with something that happened in the past, it's time for you to acknowledge it and work with your child to find a way to move forward that's different and better for both people. If this has to do with now, listen to your child. There's definitely a theme, regardless of the situation, of that child not being heard, trying to communicate, and then being punished for it. Keep in mind you are the parent, and they are the child. Don't let those roles reverse. And it's a situation that's fixable if the parent acts like a parent and it acknowledges. Or even if you don't know, says, hey, look, I can tell you're mad at me about something. I can tell you're upset. I really want to talk to you about this. And then when they say, you don't listen to me, or something along those lines, instead of you jumping down their throat and making their life a living hell, or dismissing them and telling them you're being ridiculous, you're just overreacting, which just further proves that you are not listening to them. Ask them what would make them feel heard. Assuming they're old enough to do that, but still, it's worth a try. Children are close to source. They say the most amazing things sometimes, so you never know what's going to pop out of their mouth. But the only way this ends, the only way this is really, truly released, is if you as a parent acknowledge your role in something, because I'm just seeing you making excuses. I just see excuses for why you weren't a proper parent. And it can be healed if you acknowledge the ways in which you really created some damage. I think that's all this child really wants. They want to be heard, they want to be seen, and they want to be valued. And it doesn't seem like that's something that they've gotten from you. So if that changes and you actually want to see, you actually want to value, you're actually asking them about it, I think it's really going to change the dynamic, especially if you work with them on a more harmonious relationship, instead of you just dictating what goes and punishing them if they feel something else would be better for them. I hope this makes sense. All right, that concludes the reading for pile number 1. Don't lose heart. It's definitely fixable. If you like the reading, please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. It helps me as a reader to know I'm doing a good job, and I'm going to move on to pile number 2. If you picked pile number 2, this white and green spotted stone, this is going to be the reading for you on how You can be the best parent to your child or children. Reading number 1 was really intense, so buckle up. If the cards are throwing it down today. I'm going to use children and child interchangeably because you may have asked about children or child. Just use it as how it applies to you. Pile 2. I can pile 2, be the best parent. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa! No. You may have a teenager, just because there's a knight here. Doesn't mean you have to, but a child that's not an infant. Okay, so you may have a child that's acting up a little bit, behaving erratically, maybe quick to bouts of anger. Anger and impulsiveness, maybe getting a little sassy. I think that your child, you're unaware, or you're choosing not to see. To be honest, in this card, I think you're choosing to turn a blind eye to why this is happening, because I think there's a little bit of disharmony at home. Maybe you and your partner aren't feeling it anymore, and you're fighting. Also could be connected to this, fighting. And this creates an unstable environment for this child. This is hurting the child to see this, because I'm guessing from these cards, you guys are fighting disagreeing, or you're creating the disharmony in front of the child or the children, and it's hurting them. And they also feel trapped. There's nothing they can do about it. And so the helplessness, the hopelessness, the instability of it is causing them to act out. That's what I'm seeing here. For whatever reason, there could be a myriad of reasons that the home life is unstable. But it's very disharmonious. They don't feel that love is present. So I'm guessing that they're seeing a lot of fighting, and that it's just very painful to be at home. It just causes pain for them that they can't control and they can't get out of and they can't do anything about. Let's see if we can get something on what this disharmony is exactly. God, bottom of the deck, Temperance. They want things to balance out. They really do. They sincerely are not trying to add to the disharmony. But this is still a child. You got to be the parent. It's not the child's job to create harmony in the home. It's the parent's job to create harmony in the home. I'm going to go with fighting here. There's a lot of fighting, and this child feels the need to be the peacekeeper. the one appeasing people, trying to calm it down. But I don't know that it does. This is a burden that's too much. This is not an adult. This child doesn't know how to cope with the situation. Doesn't really know what they're doing. They just want to make peace. They just want things to be resolved. And they're feeling like it's an obstacle they can't overcome, or that everything they do makes it worse, or they have to walk around on eggshells because whatever they do, they're certainly not allowed to express anything because it just is going to make it worse. It's almost like this whole mountain has just come crashing down and there's no light. There's no hope. But we do have the sun shining here. Like this child wants to bring hope to the situation. Light, balance. This child is trying to the best of their ability to facilitate harmony in the situation. But they don't really know what they're doing. And they're trying to act like an adult. They're being thrust into an adult situation. They're trying to act like an adult, but they don't know what they're doing, and they don't really have any guidance either coming from you on an adult way to handle things. Because I suspect at home it's probably a little bit rough. I don't know. It might just be that you just aren't getting along right now with whomever you're with, or you're out of whack. I don't know that it's necessarily something super dramatic, but your child is feeling like it's their responsibility to fix it, and they don't know how. And if they feel that way, that's on the parent for creating a situation. It's a codependent dynamic. And you're going to teach your kid how to be codependent. That if you're unhappy, they have to scramble and try to fix it and become the adult when you should be the adult. It's okay for you to be sad as an adult. It's okay for you to show that you're upset. But it's not okay to make the child the adult in order to help you deal with something. That role reversal is not healthy. I don't know who needs to hear that. I don't think that's for everybody here, but somebody might need to hear that. All right, advice for pile number 2. Again. Somebody's... All right, I'm going to say, man. There's the potential in some of these cards for an authoritative figure in the home, but maybe abusive to a child in some way. Probably force or withholding emotion or sharp words. If that's the case, then you need to stand up for your child. That's what I'm seeing here. Because the child doesn't feel seen or heard or understood. It just feels trapped. He or she just feels trapped. Hopefully it's not an abusive situation. But it's still an unhealthy situation, regardless of what it is. You have an unhealthy situation. We have the Lovers reversed. We also have the Emperor reversed. A dictator. And the household cannot rebalance unless the dictator is dethroned. The dictator gotta go. That's what I'm seeing in the cards. Not my personal opinion. What I'm seeing in the cards is that you choose to stand up because your child or children are suffering as a result of this person being in the household. So you tell them, time for you to go. There is no future with you. There is no future with you in this unit moving forward, and then everything rebalances into a very nice way. The kids all pitch in. They just watched you stand up for their value. Let me tell you what that does in a child's mind. It's very powerful. And they watched you stand up for them and remove an influence that was toxic for the children. Or maybe this person isn't leaving. Maybe it's time for you to move away from this person with the kids or kid. But I think you're not doing it because it seems overwhelming and it seems difficult, and there's something about you choosing not to see something that's going on. But if you face it, you are going to make decisions that are not only better for you, they're better for the family unit, and they're better for the children individually. And it all works out. Even though you think it won't, it actually does. Let's get some further advice. This feels a little bit like a very heavy situation. Maybe it's not, but that's generally what's coming through here. Or maybe heavy on your heart is a better way to put it. All right, whatever this disharmony is, you have got to stop engaging in it. No more working it out. There is no more let's talk and work it out. It's no. I'm taking charge of this. Enough. My well-being, I need to take charge of my well-being. I need to take charge of my kids' well-being. Safety here is a thing. I want security, stability, safety for my children so that they can thrive in a secure environment. That's you saying something like that. And you're moving on from walking on eggshells. You're not doing it anymore. You're facing the mountain and no longer engaging with it. It's like time to go different direction. I'm not going to bother to try to climb that mountain. I'm just going to go that way where it's way smooth path. I can see where I'm going. Like, why would I walk all over all these broken cups to try to get up to the top of the mountain? I'm just hurting myself, and it's an impossible task. I'm not working with an impossible task anymore. My well-being is worth it. My children's well-being is worth it. Understanding this actually relieves a whole lot of stress for you. You let go of a lot of stress by not engaging in the disharmony anymore. Standing up for your kids releases your stress and your children's stress, because they watch you step up into parental role. And then you say, look, now since you're testing the role as the new boss, no, we're not doing this here anymore. You can go. Now that you're stepping up in the level of a new boss, your kids you can look at your kids and you can say, all right, things are changing. It's been bullshit for a while. It's been disharmonious. It's been horrible, but things are changing. I got this. Whether you do or don't, they don't need to know that. I got this. We're going to be good. I would appreciate your help on some things. I would like you to help with X, Y, and Z. Let them know what you need help with. And that temperance card that's come up multiple times, I think at least once, maybe twice, your kids or your children will be like, yeah, absolutely, I'll help. They want to help, but they don't know what to do. So give them age-appropriate tasks. Don't make them, be an adult. They need child age-appropriate tasks that help you out, then they're part of a working team, and you create a team that actually works, a family unit that actually works together, instead of trying to make something work with somebody who doesn't want it to. They just want what they want. This is the way it is. You and your kiddos blasting free of a bunch of BS right here. But you got to take charge. You have to face what's happening, and you have to take charge and take the pressure off your child or children of being the adult, and take control of the situation. Because something's hurting your kids. Maybe it's mentally, physically, maybe it's just the disharmony and the stress and the tension at home, the instability of it. There's a whole bunch of different stuff it could be. And the minute you recognize that, Mama Bear should kick in, or Papa Bear, and your kids and you protect those kids, and you do what needs to be done to make sure that those kids are safe, and they'll work with you, and before you know it, it's just... I got the Ace of Cups twice. Maybe that's a refocus on where you think love is coming from. Because perhaps you don't want to see something because you think it's love, but it's actually not. And you're actually ignoring the real love your children actually do have for you. Just a thought. I don't know who needs to hear that. But you got this. It's time. It's time to open your eyes. And time to step into the parent role and take care of these kiddos. And they'll work with you. It solves the issues that you're having with your kids or your child right now. It solves those. Let's see. Any more advice? I kind of just want to pull a few more cards. This is really, oh my God. Ooh, this makes me want to cry. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Your kids love you. There's people that love you, that are going to help you stay on top of the situation. Let's see if I can find that card again. I don't know where it is. Hold on. I want the visual. Maybe not. Maybe it's just meant to be gone. Come on. Well, whatever. It's saying don't be afraid. You've got help. You've got assistance. Your kids love you. They'll help you. They'll help you stay on top of things as long as you take the parental role and give them kid appropriate jobs. It actually really, really reinforces a connection that you have with your kids really deeply don't be afraid. By you taking charge, then your child or children are not afraid, and they think they can handle whatever's coming because you think you can handle it. Whether you can or not is different story. They don't need to know that. They don't need to know whether you can handle it or not, but they think you can, and so they'll do anything to help you because you just took all the burden off of them, an adult burden that they shouldn't have. And they no longer feel afraid. And instead of being angry and impulsive and maybe a little bit of a shit disturber, it's all about the love. They're even going to surprise you. They'll surprise you a little bit. You know, maybe they know you had a long day at work and they surprise you with something. Instead of anger, you're getting love because you opened your eyes and you stood up for them. And you protected them and you did what needed to be done in order to keep them from living and existing in a really disharmonious environment. This concludes the reading for pile number 2. I hope you liked it. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below if you did. It helps me as a reader know I did a good job. And I'm going to move on to pile number 3. If you pick pile number 3, it's really dark amethyst stone. This is going to be the reading for you on how can I be the best parent for my child or children. Warning, these readings have been really intense, so brace yourself. What does pile 3 need to know about being the best possible parent they can be to their children or child? What do they need to know for pile number 3? Well, why don't I just take these? This is interesting because your child doesn't show up in this. Your child is worried about you and your relationship. We do have a divine counterpart pair here, the King and Queen of Cups. However, they both got their back to each other here. So it seems that the child thinks your focus is on your relationship, perhaps with somebody else, and not on them. They also have a fear that since you and your partner are not seeing eye to eye, one of you has retreated. It's like isolated, and the other one is just kind of like scared to talk to the one who's in isolation. But it's interesting, your child doesn't feel part of the equation. There's no cards in here really about your child or your children. It's all about your relationship. So perhaps your child feels a little bit neglected, or like your romantic relationships or a relationship with somebody else is taking precedence over your ability to give them attention. And this also makes me think on some level your child is scared that one or both of you are going to leave them. It's interesting. With these cards being upright, I'm not really seeing two people being erratic. Except with these, I see two people being erratic. So I think your child or your children see you both as very loving parents who are acting a fool right now. Both parents. And both are preoccupied with differing components of the relationship and won't communicate with each other and are just mad because they won't. It should be like this, where they're looking at each other, and it's not. Instead, you guys got this. Nope, everybody's got their back to the other one. How does the child play into this? Good Lord, these are jumpy. I'm wondering if you have a rather young child, and that's why the child's not really showing up here. It's like the child has an awareness of what's going on, but can't really be an active participant. So either the child is very young and just only able to observe, or maybe the child's at a distance or something like that. And doesn't want to interfere, but I still see zero presence of the child in this. That's just wild. Anyway, the child wants you guys to quit being so damn selfish. Both of you. The child's saying neither one of the partners involved in this relationship are willing to be ones that give. You both are very selfish people. And that's what this is saying. Hey, you're only willing to move forward with what you want, and you're not willing to give to the relationship. So your child, this is a little strange, but this is what what's coming through from the child or the children. It's like, I feel two things here. One, I think the child is saying you both have a tendency to leave in order to protect yourself. But it's also that there's a relationship here in a family that is worth holding on to. It can go forward together. Neither one of you have given it its fair chance. And so the child is perhaps even a little bit pissed because he or she or they are watching two parents that are actually a really good match for each other deteriorate a good family dynamic because they're both too selfish to actually give. And it's unbelievable because you have the king and the queen and they're both upright. Both are capable of bringing to the table what this relationship needs. And it's like both parties are absolutely intent on throwing their temper tantrums and getting their way and not giving to the other person in order to protect themselves. And no one will move forward into communication. No one will move forward into giving. It's just, no, this is what I want. It's two people this is coming from a child's perspective, so it's hard for me to really give deeper words to this, but it's basically two people who'd rather take than give. And they're mad that the other one won't let them take anymore. And the child is pissed because the child thinks that, or children think that they're going to lose a parent, that one of them's going to leave them, or if not both, because neither one of them had the maturity to actually give the relationship a chance. Whew. Who is this child or children? Man. I mean, you guys must have some level of maturity somewhere in there if you've got a child this mature spanking you down right now. But you've lost it somewhere along the way, perhaps. Advice for pile 3. All right, somebody is holding on to things that have happened in the past and they're bringing them into the future, or into the present, and they're imagining, they're under a false illusion that the past is happening again when things are actually good. This is heavy self-sabotage behavior, just saying. Because I've got look at this, the 4 of Wands and the 6 of Cups. You have the King and the Queen of Cups here. You have a soulmate pair. A fantastic connection. And somebody, if not both, I think both, would rather hold on to the illusions of what they think is wrong so that it doesn't go forward than actually work with somebody. This is blowing my mind. Your child is basically, or children are basically like, wake up. Wakey, wakey. You guys acting a fool, you being dumb. Both of you are being dumb. You got a good thing going, and you would both rather hold on to your illusions than actually hold on to each other. And you both are going to lose a good thing. Because you're both self-sabotaging. I'm going to say, whomever is more the mother figure in this is sabotaging more than the father figure. Gender, rules don't really apply. That's just, it doesn't have to be a woman if you're the mother figure. But just whomever is embodying the mother figure is more likely the one that's she's falling on her own sword. She's self-sabotaging. And the father figure is getting tired of it because he pays the price as well. A price he didn't ask for. Because she's self-sabotaging about things that aren't actually happening. She thinks they are, but they're not actually happening. It's the devil. It's illusions. It's the traps you put your mind in that you choose. You choose those traps for yourself. You choose the bondage and the enslavement. And you could get out at any time, but you choose not to because it's addictive. It's an addictive pattern that you've picked up on some level throughout your life. Could even be an addiction. Somebody may have an addiction here that's actually preventing things from moving forward. But it's unfortunate because I see an amazing and beautiful connection here. And then I see self-sabotage. And somebody who's unaware of their self-sabotage. And as a result, I don't think they realize how taxing it is on their children and on their relationship. And that they're running the risk of losing the partner that they have. I think the father figure, though, the father figure is also self-sabotaging because this isn't exactly the most proactive card. Granted, he may feel tired and exhausted from the situation, but he isn't giving to this either. Keep that in mind. So, he isn't putting anything toward the relationship to actually rectify it and fix it. He may not know what to do because everything he's tried has backfired because the mother figure is intent on self-destruction. So he may not actually be able to give anything because she'll just reject it. Or it makes it worse because she's intent on self-sabotage. So the father figure is self-sabotaging as well. He's not taking charge. He's not giving either. He may have his logical reasons for it, but he's still not, which is contributing to things. Let's get a little bit more of advice. Because I feel like that's more just talking about the situation instead of like, oh, what do you do about this? Since your child's bringing this up. It's distressing to them that you're both acting like a fool. Let it go. Oh my God. The King of Cups in the same position again. My Lord. Woo! Alright, so basically what this is saying is it's time to let go of the things that didn't work. Because if you don't, you're going to sever the family dynamic, and it's going to damage your child. Now the child's showing up. Right there. Son of Cups reversed. Gosh. Alright, mother figure. Daughter of Pentacles. She's not interested in working in it. King of Cups, clarified by Father of Cups, reversed. He's not interested in working on it. here they are looking at each other now. So I think if both of these people, Father of Cups reversed, I think this is emotionally shut down. I also think the father figure is very emotionally exhausted. He's been through the mother figure's put him through quite a lot, and I think he's put her through some as well, although I suspect most of it was in the past, and she hasn't let it go, and she just keeps bringing it up into the present, and uses it to self-sabotage. That's what I think is happening here. But it's time to let it all go. Whatever happened in the past, it's time to let it go. If you don't, you're breaking your egos, your ego and your pride. I hope it's worth it, by the way, should you choose not to work on this with your partner, because you're going to break something in your child that will not be repairable. You're going to sever something because of your egos and your pride. So think carefully about the decisions you're going to make. Both of you need to. In fact, whoever's watching this, if you picked this one, you need to show it to your partner, because they're a part of this too. You both are guilty here. You both are contributing to chaos and madness. You know, the mother's stressed about the past, the father's stressed about the future. Instead, they should be looking at each other and saying, how do we get through this together? Let go of the bullshit. Y'all, you have the ability to know this. This is the craziest thing. You have the ability to act like a mature couple. You know, like grown-ups. And you guys just are both throwing it right out the door. It doesn't make any sense. So let it all go. Stop acting a fool. Get back to your sense of self. Sense of sense. You know? Take some time to reconnect to yourself, maybe. Because separation creates... It breaks something in your child. It breaks something beautiful, something special, something loving. It may even break your child's ability to love appropriately. Moving forward into the future, because they witnessed two people who were actually a good fit malfunction because they behaved like children, and as a result, your child or children may pick people who act like children and just dig at them, just cut at them all the time. Just cut them down. They're going to choose what the behavior the two of you are doing, this child is going to replicate. Just saying. For the mama figure, this child's going to behave like you. And for the father figure, she's going to, or he, well, I guess it depends on the sex of the child. Anyway, one of the parents, the child, is going to end up in a relationship with that dysfunction, and the other one, they're going to emulate that dysfunction. So, your kiddo is basically saying, I love you, but grow up. You both are capable of it. This is channeled message from child. Grow up. You both are capable of it. I don't know why y'all are acting such a fucking fool. Excuse my language. I try not to swear in this, but you actually have a good thing going on. I don't know why you guys won't work on it. I'm here too. It's not just about you. You chose to make me. I'm your responsibility. Hello? Like, look at this. Oh my God. There's this little angel under the chair. It's like the little child going, hey, I know I'm in the dark and you're basically sitting on me and squashing me, But like, I'm here too, hey, completely ignored. Pay attention, guys. Come on. You got the ability to do this. You're going through something as a couple. And whatever it is probably causing past issues to flare up. Bad coping mechanisms, bad ways of dealing with things. And you've both become rather self-absorbed and forgotten about the children or child. This is easy to fix. Start paying attention to the child. Start giving to the child. And start giving to each other. Get over ego. You've got a child together. Uh-oh. When you get a child together, you don't get to play those games, You have another human being in the mix. Get over yourself. You chose this path. And if you didn't, if it happened by accident, you still chose it by not practicing proper sex. So, embrace your child. Your child is a gift. Get out of yourselves. You guys are being too self-absorbed. Start giving to the child. Start giving to each other. Watch what happens. Thank you for watching. This concludes the reading for pile number 3. If you like the reading, please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. And I'll see you guys next time.